Welcome to the Autograph University Masterclass. I'm Matt Raymond. On today's episode, we're going to talk to Brian Flam, who's a grapher based out of Maryland and the creator of the Autograph card, which, if you read Autograph University, you know I'm a huge fan. I love it. I use it. And I asked Brian to come on the Masterclass to tell the story. Let's do it. Welcome to the Autograph University Masterclass. I'm Matt Raymond. You may not know today's guest by name, but you may be carrying one of his products in your wallet like me. We're talking to the creator of the Autograph card, Brian Flam. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Matt.
So I definitely want to get into the Autograph card. Readers of Autograph University know that I'm a huge fan of it. You know, I carry it with me wherever I go, and kind of the value proposition here is that, you know, you've created this, you know, very graphable item that we can have on us at all times, so we're never missing an opportunity. Or you know, especially with spring training happening now, there are a lot of collectors that are down there, and they may not have a card or a photo, or want to use a baseball and some, you know, a young player, you know, they can have these. It's better than, you know, an index card, things like that. So I want to talk about the product, but you're actually a grapher yourself, and you were graphing long before you came up with this product for collectors. So tell us a little bit about how you started, why you're passionate about this hobby.
Well, early on, like anybody that has the bug and is out graphing, autographing is emotional highs and lows. And one of the worst feelings you can have as an autograph collector is someone that you want being accessible and you not being prepared.
Totally.
You don't have the item, or you didn't know they were going to be there.
Yeah. Like,
my roster says you were sent to AAA.
Yeah, yeah. Worse than getting denied is to miss out on someone right in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Getting denied. So, you know, how it really came to be is like any grapher, you've always had that, gee, I wish I had something for that event. My earliest recollections of this concept was back in the late 80s, early 90s. I was a Philly season ticket holder. I remember specifically getting Faye Vincent and not having anything, so I took out a business card and just had him sign the back of it, and kind of clicked. I remember the local office supply place, you could order business cards, and I was like, I'm just going to get a business card and have them print a red seam on a business card.
Great idea.
And, you know, never really did it, but had thought about it for 10 or 15 years, and fast forward to about 2004, a real good friend of mine that I graph with, who happens to be a graphic designer by trade. I was talking to him about it, you know, autographing tails, and he was more so just busting my chops, saying, well, if you want that, let me do it, and I can actually make something that looks good.
Perfect.
So fast forward, he's now my business partner, Russell Miles, and he's the design brains of it. And he does fantastic work with actually designing something that looks good. The big difference from our product to, say, a business card is it's specifically hobby sized. It's a standard trading card size, so it fits in your binders. It fits in 9-pocket pages, in acrylic holders.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed. You know, I had ordered some, you know, probably a couple years back. You know, just to have on hand. I mean, I'm not, you know, much of a card collector anymore, but, you know, certainly when I'm graphing baseball, or, you know, I carry one of the, you know, I showed it before, you know, one of the universal cards, just because you never know who you're going to run into, you know, in terms of, you know, celebrities around here where I am in Boston. And I noticed immediately, just, you know, it's basically the, you know, it's, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this and a trading card that you know, would buy in a pack. I mean, it's, you know, same, you know, same stock and kind of look and feel, you know, other than that gloss. I mean, like you said, I mean, these are autograph ready.
Without, I know production was probably going to be one of your questions, but that something that was important to us is getting everything professionally printed on cardstock, 16 points, so it's a nice thick, it's not going to ding up if you use it through the mail, and the postage machines aren't going to damage it unless it really gets crushed by the postman. And more so that they're professionally cut. I use those little acrylic boxes, and there's nothing worse when you get a card that's miscut and it locks up the box.
Yeah.
So, I mean, early on, yeah, we tried to do things in sheets and cut them ourselves, and it's impossible to do. with any kind of quality control.
Mm-hmm.
So it costs more, but it's definitely worth it to have everything perfect.
I mean, without giving up like trade secrets. I mean, are you just using like a a printer like any marketing agency would go use a printer for stuff, or is it a card?
Industry standard printing.
Yeah.
For a couple of reasons. One is we were able to get that non-fade surface with that the coating, proprietary coating that's used on this and some other trading cards that doesn't have that gloss luster to it. So you can immediately take out a Sharpie and get it signed, or a ball pen or a pencil, and the ink is going to go without having to prep the card. For those of you that collect cards specifically, you all know the prep work that goes into getting a Bowman Chrome card signed. Whether you use an eraser or a spray or baby powder or sandpaper.
Wow. So you're down in Maryland, and I'm assuming that you're using these, in your own graphing adventures. Who are you, who are you graphing down there? What's the scene like? I know, we get questions at Autograph University all the time, just people curious about, in the different regions in the country, what people are into and what the kind of the culture is like. So talk about that, because you have access to a couple different markets. You have DC, you have Baltimore down there, you have Philly down there. You're a Philly fan, so talk to me about what you're doing down there.
This area which I live kind of in between Baltimore, DC. You wouldn't think so, but specifically for minor league baseball is one of the hotbeds in the country. Within a 3-hour radius of my house, there might be close to 20 different teams you could see.
Wow.
Bowie, Frederick, Potomac, Hagerstown, Aberdeen, Richmond, Altoona, Reading, Trenton, 3.5 hours you can go to Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. I mean, there's just there's indie ball teams with York and Southern Maryland. I don't even really deal with the professional sports teams much here. And within 30 minutes either way, you have 2 major league teams. You have 2 NFL teams. You have an NHL team, an NBA team, a WNBA team. There's just so much that within anything of collecting, you kind of have to specialize. Otherwise, it's just overwhelming. You can't collect everything and anything. If you do trading cards, you do baseball, and even within baseball, there's subcategories. Most people try not to collect everything. One, it's financial limitations, but 2, space. So I stick primarily to minor league autographing. So.
Sure. And what is it about? I mean, when you started out, and continued that hobby through the years. I mean, what is it about, autograph collecting that you're still passionate about? I know, I've been doing it on and off, since I was a kid through TTM, but more seriously over the past 7 years in person. And I'm constantly asking myself the question, like, what keeps me getting back in the car? Or
why do you keep doing it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're all
answer. Yeah. We could save a lot of people from this illness.
Save
the telethon, the
save lives and marriages.
No, it is. It is an addiction of some point.
Yeah.
You can't tell a non-autograph collector what you're going to do and why you do it. It doesn't make sense to a normal, rational human being.
Yeah. My wife tells me that. Yes.
Yeah. By trade, we are not normal, rational people. We're going to stand in line for 3 hours to get a free autograph at a car dealership because we can. Why? A normal person, doesn't really get
the rush.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what specifically the autograph factor. I guess I can. I was going to relate it to. I can tell you why minor league as opposed to major league.
Sure. Yeah.
But quickly on the why the autograph part is, I know when I do look through, I collect a lot of sets, so I'll look through like my Team USA set them a couple years ago. And not only can you see the progression of the players, which I think is great, like, Dustin Pedroia's in the big leagues, being from Boston, or this guy is now working at a KFC down the block. But you can kind of remember how you got each one, and each one there's a story. I'm hanging out with your friends
Sure.
and going out to ballparks, and it's an enjoyable experience. So there's an experience behind each one. Everybody has a story. We always say, like, you can't believe everything you read about players' histories, because some people will have an interaction with a player and they'll think it was the greatest thing ever, and other people's interaction might not have been so good. So you have those stories with each piece. So it's, why does anyone collect anything?
Yeah, excellent. So going back to the autograph card, I know just from being a fan and monitoring what you guys are doing, it's evolved over time. And you started it. What was the year you said that you started actually producing the cards?
We started making for ourselves in late 2004,
Okay.
beginning of '05, and we went live right at the end of the year '05 with the website, because we were actually in Arizona at the Arizona Fall League, and we had printed up just a very small amount for our own personal use at that point. And it was about the last day, or the second to last day of our trip out there, and I had about 5 or 6 cards left, and I was getting them signed by whoever player. And another collector, other collectors had asked us, like, hey, that's a good idea, can I get some? And we're like, well, no, I really don't have any. I didn't make any extra. So when I told the guy, I'm sorry, that I got 3 left. You can have 1, but I don't have any to sell you. He got mad, and that he was like, physically, you could feel the anger that I was holding out, and we weren't selling him this product. And on the plane ride back, Rusty and I were talking about it. And we're like, if people have this visceral reaction to being denied the product, maybe we're on to something here.
Yeah.
So we launched a website. It just kind of went from there.
Cool. So looking back over the last 7 or 8 years, you've evolved not just from sports. I mean, I think it's cool. I'm not much of like a non-sports comic book guy, but when I see people with those sketch cards and they have the artist sketching on them.
Matt, I got a surprise for you.
Oh, yeah?
I got a couple samples. So
all right.
I'm not into it either. My business partner is a huge comic book fan, so I give him all the credit for the comic book, the sketchbook ideas. But I am a pop culture fan.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're familiar with Pixar.
Sure.
And Toy Story and Up. Pete Docter, the director, I was just reading, different blogs and websites that he signs through the mail. So I sent him a sketch card. I don't know if I can actually get it centered here.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that looks awesome.
And he's nice enough to do a little sketch there, signs it, and, sends it back to you.
It almost makes me want to
want it for the autograph, but the sketch, the pop culture aspect is fabulous.
Sure, yeah.
On our Facebook page, one of the members had, or one of our friends had posted a picture he had ran into Matt Groening of The Simpsons at a Comic-Con, and had him do a Bart Simpson sketch. And it was just, again, I wouldn't necessarily want the guy's signature, but the sketch I would love.
Yeah, really cool. And so tell me about kind of like what's next. Like, I went to your Facebook page, and we'll tell people how to get there. But I'm seeing that you're coming out with kind of some special kind of like short printed versions for some events you're doing. I'm seeing some cards around specific teams in specific cities. So kind of what's next? I mean, people go on the site now, they'll see that, you cover, the major sports, even some things like, boxing and, Olympics, you put something out, which was timely. What's next for the autograph card? Talk to me about some of the feedback that you're getting from your customers and your fans, and how that influences what you guys do next.
Well, how it influences is like anything, supply and demand. If it, originally, if we didn't have a product and people said, we want auto racing, we made an auto racing card, So part of it is customer feedback. In terms of, as you touched on, the special edition type exclusive cards that we do for different events. It started last year. We did the National in Baltimore. So we did, Baltimore-themed cards, Orioles colored baseball card. And we have this weekend we'll be up in Philadelphia at the Philly Show in Valley Forge. So we're going to have a red and white Philadelphia themed baseball card available for that event. That's not available for sale on our website. It's available at those events to spur some interest. The best place people can find out about that, as you mentioned, is staying kind of connected on Facebook when those things come out. There will be a couple new products coming this fall. I know at least 3 of which will be debuted at the National in late July, early August in Chicago. So if you want to find out, you can either stop by the National in Chicago, or if you just about probably 2 weeks prior on Facebook, there'll be sneak peeks and some ordering information as well.
Great. So tell people, just to wrap up, tell people how they can find out more about the autograph card, how they can, connect with you and kind of join this community that you're building.
Well, they can find out about it easily by going to the website, theautographcard.com, as I shameless plug. So you can visit the website, and that's the easiest way to purchase product. In terms of keeping updated, the Facebook page is just the easiest way to have kind of timely communication. A lot of people will post their successes as well, so it's not just communicating with us. You can kind of see what some other people are doing with the product through the mail successes. We're really not in trying to step on some of the other collector board's toes. That's not what we're not a collector board. We try to keep it focused on product based for that reason, because I mean we're both members of probably numerous collector sites, and you can tell it's just a lot of hand holding and not really interested in getting in that business.
Yeah, it's a big challenge.
Yeah.
And what's the is there an easy URL for the Facebook page? We can definitely link it up.
Yeah, just Facebook/The Autograph Card.
Perfect.
So
excellent. Well, it was really cool to hear the story behind the product. So, Brian, thank you so much for coming on.
Terrific. Thank you for having me, Matt.
Huge thanks to Brian Flam for coming on the masterclass and taking us behind the scenes at The Autograph Card. You can check them out online at theautographcard.com and over on Facebook at facebook.com/theautographcard. Then head on over to Autograph University at autographu.com. All sorts of tips and guides to help you improve your autograph collection and meet celebrities. And sign up for our newsletter at autographu.com/newsletter. Never miss an episode of the masterclass. Got all sorts of updates and free content over there. Thank you so much for joining us again. Till next time, be well and let the ink flow.